welcome back. Last video, we got the fuel system all sorted out in this thing, and now we're gonna work on the wiring. But before we do the wiring, we gotta get the engine in place so I can put the engine back together. And to get the engine actually in place, we need to work on the transmission cross member. And got a bit of an issue going on down there. All right, we're about to creep on under there, so I apologize in advance for the camera work, because it's pretty limited down here. So the motor mounts are pretty much, well, they're not pretty much, they are maxed out up there. And then if I take this light and come back here, our mounting plate isn't quite aligned where it should be. I can weld some tabs on there, and I can, I could make this work, except if we go to the other side. So now that we're over here on the other side, the issue is pretty apparent. There's supposed to be a drive shaft coming out of here, going up to there. It's gonna be really hard with this whole unit in the way. So I could cut this out and plate it and do some fab work and this and that, but then we'd still have to get a little plate for this front tab, and I found an easier solution. For pretty much the same price as materials, I found this off Summit Racing. This is a universal 8-inch drop transmission cross member, and it should work pretty well. The only issue is our van is not centered underneath the driveline. So we got to lop like 2.5 inches off this side, where that little paint marker is, and then weld it over on this side, and then we should be in action. So in order to make our transmission work with our new cross member, I needed something that looked kind of like this. And big shout out to my buddy Grant over at Metalcraft CNC, because here it is. So basically we're gonna have this sitting in there. I got some carriage bolts, gonna run through the top to mount onto the little cross member. And then I got these weird little generic rubber spacers that are gonna sit in there. Then a bolt's gonna go up here. It's gonna go right into the trans. So hopefully this should hold it right in place. The transmission is finally off jack stands. We got our little cross member in here. We got our little mounting plate with some rubber bushings in there. And yeah, we should be able to go ahead and start working on the wiring. Alright, so we have our heater hose in here running into the engine. We have a Demolition Derby style radiator loop. So this is just going from the inlet to the outlet. And the whole thing's full of coolant, so that'll work temporarily. And then we have this big, ridiculous unicorn horn of an intake going on out here. And again, all this stuff is just super temporary until we make sure the engine works, work out any kinks. And then, we're going to put the radiator in, we're going to put the front back together, we're going to put all the parts and pieces on, and then we're going to cut it down and make it all fit. So yeah, it looks ridiculous, but hopefully it'll work. All this stuff's just kind of temporary, just to see if it'll start. All the wiring's hooked up. I got it hanging right here until we get the actual PCM to mount it. I'm still waiting for that to come in the mail. I sent it off to get it programmed. So yeah, we're just waiting on that to come, and then we'll turn the key and hopefully it'll start.
4 to 6 weeks later.
So, boom, I finally got my PCM. I sent this thing off to get programmed, and I've been waiting for it to come back. And long story short, since I've been waiting for it to come back, I started working on the garage out here, trying to, insulate and repanel all the walls, make it look a little nicer. And then I got sick, and I've been out of commission. So I'm finally back. My goal is to get this thing started before snow falls, and it's supposed to snow tomorrow. So crunch time is on. Let's see what we can do. Since we're on this time crunch, I was going through my box of miscellaneous parts of all the project cars throughout the years, and I found this little eBay special right here. So this basically is just a kill switch and a push button start. This is, I'm not quite even sure what this was from, what I was gonna do with it, but we're gonna hook this up for now and see what happens. Not that I'm a professional, but this is very far from a professional job. There's our starter panel. There's our PCM. There's all of our fuses. Everything is securely held in place by this bungee cord. And yeah, we're gonna throw some power to that and see what happens. Power this on. And then power this on. I heard the fuel pump prime up. That's a good sound. So now, in theory, if we hit this button, so she's trying to crank, but I don't think our little jump box here has quite enough punch to get it going. So I'm gonna go steal the battery out of my daily driver and throw it in here, see if it'll start. All right, so now we got the jump box and the battery. Let's see what happens. It's alive! Hell Oh, yes. I am so stoked that this thing runs. There's so many unknown unknowns, and it's just, I don't even know. I'm amped. It's been such a long time that we've made any big, huge headway on this thing, and now this is such a big milestone that it's just, I don't know. I'm super excited. But yeah, I'm just kind of rambling. Next step is to clean up the rat's nest that I kind of made to get it to start temporarily and actually wire it in right to where it's, you know, the key does it all. And then we're probably going to work on the brake system and then driveline stuff, like drive shaft, and then, I don't know, we're going to do all that over the winter, and then in the spring, hopefully we take it for a test drive. So yeah, so amped that this thing runs. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned because we are going to get this thing done and it's going to be sick.